and other governments probably did the same to North American governments as well. The UFO issue has obviously been of extreme interest to these agencies, given the scale of resources put toward investigating it. One document within the CIA archives also shows that they were interested in reports of actual extraterrestrial bodies. For example, here is one that was addressed to certain scientists of distinction, to aeronautical and military authorities, and to a number of public officials. The document, stored in the FBI database, shows interest in a letter written by someone with several university degrees and a former university department head. It provides information, on pages 21 and 22, about extraterrestrial beings, their craft, how they operate, and where they come from. When you study ufology, you come across all sorts of stories, and one interesting thing these stories seem to share is that they, whoever is operating these crafts, are not interested in confrontation. Which brings us to a document, stored in the CIA archives, that describes how Mikhail Gorbachev, who, by the way, once publicly stated that the phenomenon of UFOs does exist, and it must be treated seriously, was dissolved. It's a document keeping tabs on a report a media outlet put out, which again, clearly shows a high level of interest from them. It states that U.S. intelligence obtained a 250-page file on the attack by a UFO on a military unit in Siberia, and it goes on to describe something extraordinary. The file contains not only many documentary photographs and drawings, but also testimonies by actual participants in the events. One of the CIA representatives referred to this case as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze. According to the KGB materials, a quite low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer appeared above a military unit that was conducting routine training maneuvers. For unknown reasons, somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO. It fell to Earth not far away, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes emerged from it. It is stated in the testimonies by the 2 soldiers who remained alive that, after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together and then merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply, and then became a brilliant white. In a few seconds, the spheres grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived. The document then goes on to state. The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone. The document ends with a comment from a CIA representative, who said, "If the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked.